majority of poisonous materials. And when you get oxidized, when the platina is getting oxidized, every heavy metal, even if you take in nanoscale, sometimes it can produce damage to the tissues. But when it gets oxidized, the whole toxicity will vanish. That is the reason we are using aurum met, platina met, ferrum metallicum, arsenicum met, everything we are using without any sort of complications, because they are getting oxidized. And there are sources of oxidization. In trituration, what we are using? Sugar of milk. And in potentization, we are using alcohol. All will give the oxidation to the material which we are using. So in the process of potentization, even without the knowledge of Hahnemann, he converted the poisonous materials and toxic metals into non-poisonous, non-toxic medicines. See, let us not brood about what Hahnemann did. You understand what Hahnemann did, then you try to find your own ways. Otherwise, the science will not reach anywhere. And human beings won't get any benefit out of that. This is something very, very important. As pharmacy teachers, you have to be very much aware of this, because some good students can ask you this question straight away. You need to have answers.
One question.
Sir, can you please keep in mind, don't forget. And this is the DLS analysis of the same potency 200. The size of nanoparticle you can see here 8 to 9. So this is an extensive study where you can see this is a platina test, and here although the particle size is so small, 2 nanometer to 12 nanometers. This is aurum metallicum 6E. 0.3 to 20 nanometer is the size. Technology in the last 30 years. It's called grinding and milling for everywhere. But if you look at 6, intriguing, I don't know how that fellow made all these things. It's quite surprising many a time. He didn't have any modern equipments or anything, but just because by using the mortar and pestle and spatula, he created nanomaterials and quantum dots in large quantity, and he used it in medicine, and everybody ridiculed him. Nobody accepted that fellow. And now even us, we are skeptical about it.
This is my question.
Yes. Now answer has come now.
Yes.
That's why I told you, please wait. So here, my dear friends, science is not a laboratory business alone. You don't need too many equipments to learn science. You know a simple thing I'll tell you. 2200 years ago, Romans created Lycurgus cup. You can search in Google, you will find Lycurgus, Lycurgus cup. Lycurgus cup is a flask like a glass which produces light in different dimensions. When a ray falls on that, it produces different colored lights from that. And this Lycurgus cup, now we realized, inside this glass there are nanoparticles of gold. How these Romans created nanoparticles and put inside the glass, something unknown to us. 2200 years ago, what was the technology? To make it like that?
Yes.
So we have a prejudice always. We have a prejudice that science means somebody with a white coat sitting somewhere in a lab where everything is closed and air conditioned, and somebody has to put some this way and that way, then only science will come out. This is nonsense. Science is in our mind. Is it not? It is our rationality, it is our reasoning. Our reasoning, when you implicate in somewhere, it becomes a evidence-based science. But we have a ulta attitude now about all these things.
Yes.
People ask, oh, how can you do things like that in such a place? If you do anything in India, I will tell you, I travel extensively to Europe and America many a time. And I know a lot of scientists, we work together, we speak at the same podium many a time. They have a very serious prejudice. When I presented all these presentations, the European scientists, they don't open their mouth, they just keep quiet. They don't want to agree, they don't want to accept, they don't want to appreciate, because they think Europe is the place for discoveries. India is not a place for discoveries.
Yes.
This is an attitude of people everywhere, and we too have same attitude. So this is aurum metallicum LM1. The beauty of LM potency is, by LM1 itself, most of the drugs will attain the, it's almost same most of the time observed. LM1 is almost similar to 1M potency. I don't know why. We have to answer it later. This is LM30. See, the size of gold particle is so small. This is Natramur CM potency. This is what we call a nanopond. Nanoparticles come together and make a pond-like structure. And this is a 50 nanometer scale bar. This is 10 nanometer. And here the size of particle is 0.65 to 1.15. It's like an ionized form of sodium chloride is clubbed together. And we know that Natramur is such a deep acting drug. It can be used for any condition if symptoms agree with that. The reason is the particles are so small. They can cross over any barrier in the body. Can be a blood-brain barrier, it is a barrier on the cell wall, or even the barrier of the nuclear wall. They transmit immediately without any resistance. That makes a huge difference. That is why the pharmacodynamics of homeopathy is something quite amazing. This is a LM24 of Natramur. You can see the same picture I put on my textbook, LM24. This is typically a nanopond in the middle with the borders. This is a nanopond. Unbelievable number of particles are there. Natramur, when you see under electron microscope, it is like you are seeing particles on the seashore. Unending numbers. At such a small area, I don't know how such a large number of particles remain. And this is another drug, iodine 200C. See the particles in iodine and Natramur, what difference, or aurum metallicum or platinum. These are the individual particles of iodine. And here iodine 200C, you can see 2.8 to 9 nanometer size. This is arsenicum album. This is a 200C of arsenicum album in 100 nanometer scale bar. This is in 20 nanometer, and these are the individual areas of few particles coming together. Very special for arsenic. I did it in 2014 and I published it in 2015. And in 2019, end of 2019, 2020, when the COVID came, our Prime Minister suggested the Ayush systems of medicine can be used, and our CCR suggested arsenic 30C. And lot of people came and they said, there is nothing in it, there is only water. But our profession failed to say there is no water, there is presence of nanomaterial. These pictures were there in the publications as well as in my textbook. So our profession is still sleeping. We are still sleeping. We don't know the value of the things which you are holding. Sometimes it happens, Some parents are brought Infosys and Wipro's share certificates in 1990, paying few thousands of rupees and kept in the locker. Children don't know the value of that. If they don't know, they will not know where the certificate is lying. Now it is many crores of rupees. So homeopaths have such a thing in our pocket. But we don't know where it is, we don't know how to use it, we don't know how to tell about it. We should defend ourselves, because what we are giving is so sophisticated, so subtle and curative drugs. Because we know that arsenic is equally important in viral infections, and it is equally important in skin infections or chronic skin conditions. And the most interesting thing I will show you, this particle size is 5 to 71 nanometer, and majority of them were 5 to 50 nanometer size. The large particles only in 71. What was the size of COVID virus? 130 nanometer. COVID virus, the size of COVID virus much smaller than the virus. Could you imagine any medicine is there like that in the world? I have treated thousands of COVID patients, I can tell you, though it was illegal. Through various of my friends and people, I have treated thousands and thousands of people. I was giving not arsenic, I will tell you very frankly. I was always a single medicine prescriber, but during COVID I changed that. Because you cannot talk to the patient and prescribe according to the symptom. Is it possible? It was impossible. So what I did is, the common symptoms of the COVID collected, and I made a combination of arsenic, bryonia and gelsemium. I called it GAP, gelsemium, arsenic, bryonia. 200 potency of each medicine. 1 drop each in 60 ml. Take a 60 ml bottle of water and alcohol. Put 1 drop of arsenic, 1 drop of bryonia, 1 drop of gelsemium. Mix it very well. Whenever you start the fever, take the medicine every 1 hour, 15 drops in 30 ml water. I treated thousands of people, not only in India, abroad also. People were looking for anything. I am not going there and giving, so nobody can arrest me. It's only a message. One message will go to 1,000 people, and they take it, they believed it. And I associated with a doctor in South Africa. She is a modern medicine practitioner, family practitioner. She is working for the government of South Africa. She asked me what to do. What are you doing? I told her I am doing this. Calcium arsenic bryonia 200 mix and give. Every 1 hour first day, every 2 hour second day, 3 hour third day, 4 times 4th day onwards. She treated 1,700 patients in her clinic, diagnosed COVID positive. And in their patients, only one patient landed into ICU. Remaining all of them cured with this medicine. She presented that. In India she came and presented. And in this one patient, she called me immediately. One of my patients is troubling and she has gone to little bit homes, people with immunocompromised condition, everybody washed out. That is natural. Accept it. If you accept that, this disease can be contained. Then, in this 10% of infected people, even if 1% die, it is 80 lakhs. 2% die, it is 1.6 crores all over the world. Disease is over. Then it become a common cold. If you close down the society, not allowing the infection to spread, and you want to cook up, I use the same word, fast cook up a vaccine, and you want to put in 800 crore people, you make money definitely. But if there is any side effect which happens to the vaccine, and 1% of people die, how many people will die? 8 crores people will die. Now it is more than that, the reality. After I published these articles, many of my YouTube videos related to alternative systems have vanished. But I treated a lot of patients. I didn't take vaccine. Frankly, I'll tell you. I didn't take vaccine. My children didn't take vaccine. My family, nobody took vaccine. And one thing I decided, I will not travel. I did not travel 3 years. I go to hospital, come home. I see patients. I have seen patients. I didn't close my clinic. I was seeing my patients in my home. I was seeing patients in the hospital. I didn't take vaccine. And in March 2021, vaccine came. All the doctors, nurses, staff, everyone in the hospital took the vaccine. And I said, I don't want to take vaccine. And the microbiologist, she was in charge of vaccine. And she was so perplexed and asked me, what are you saying, doctor? Everybody was waiting for it. You don't want it. And I told her, very nicely I told her, if I get COVID, I am not scared of that. I will treat myself. Suppose I am dying of COVID, that's my fate. I don't have any concern about it. But if I get a COVID vaccine induced side effect, I don't want to live with that in my life. And she never talked to me 2 years. She didn't even look at me. But the interesting thing is, every doctor in the hospital become positive in COVID and got admitted or at home within 3 months. I got COVID 1.5 years later, 2023 last. I had fever 3 days. It was very tiring. My whole family had fever. And I tested and I was COVID positive. Just stayed at home, had medicines, same medicine which I was telling you. And third day I become alright. Now even if I die, I am not worried because I am not dying because of anything related to COVID. I am dying because my time is over. So this is something, it's very difficult to stand up and talk about all these things, but I did it and I feel I feel what I did was right. Even today I feel same. And it gave a lot of inputs to us. And that's what I am telling you. This arsenicum album, nanoparticles here, 5 to 71 nanometer, is much smaller than COVID virus. If you know that, you don't get scared of anything, because as a homeopath, how many infections we are treating? Viral infection. Are you failing any time in viral infection treating? No. You are not failing in the treatment of viral infection. Any type of influenza. I never had experience of failure in that area. But when the society as a large coming and it will emit the light particles are there, so many things are there, but all in nanometer scale. Nothing is going to make a puncture in your GAT. It is such a small thing. And this is calcareous carb, 1M potency. See, the particles are totally different. This is carbo animalis. I have seen all, see, I'll tell you one thing. All the organic materials we have studied under field emission scanning electron microscope. Scanning, it is scanning the substrate. Whereas all the metals and minerals we have studied under HRTM, high resolution transmission electron microscope. If you put organic material under transmission electron microscope, this material will get burned and the aperture of the electron microscope will go away and it will cost around 75 lakhs rupees. So that is very tricky. So when this electron microscope, it is a very tricky situation. The equipment itself was costing around 13-14 crores rupees. So carbo animalis, you can see the particles here. Hypericum perforatum 10M. Lycopodium, see how beautiful the picture of Lycopodium 24, LM24. See the particle in 2 micron and in 200 nanometer. Brick-like particles. Brick-like particles. And one thing I have noticed is organic materials, the particle size is always bigger. Metals and minerals, the particle size is close to quantum dots and narrow, very small in nanoscale. This is Naxomica CM. Can you imagine? See, what we are using is not large quantity of medicine, it's a micro drop. A micro drop. A micro drop we pour into the 10 grit and that micro drop will maybe 1/10th of the micro drop will remain. The remaining will vanish because the 10 grit is so small. It is a 50 micron area. 200 columns in that. And there you are putting 1 drop and maximum liquid will fall off and the particles will get entrapped inside. And these particles we dry for overnight under ultraviolet rays. Then next day morning we are going for the mounting under the electron microscope. So what we are seeing here is not the whole picture. There are 200 columns in that, and in that 200 columns, 1 column is 50 micron. And when you go to these pictures of earlier one, look at here. If you take this area, this is 20 nanometer. That is 1 column, 1 corner. In that area, you may find hundreds of particles. So when you put a single pill into the mouth of a patient, what are you doing? You put lot of things into that. Lot of things into that. It's an alcohol control sample in 30C in both in FESM and CHARTM, and all the electron microscopes I did the analysis of control samples. And this book is in second edition with a lot. So what's the time, ma'am?
10 to 15
They will take 10 minutes to
minutes.
serve tea here.
Tea here.
They are just arranging the things.
Still we will just take a small break. Why I am changing a total area to another area?
पेशेंट को मेडिसिन दे रहा हूँ तो अलॉन्ग विथ ही इज गेटिंग क्योर, बट उसकी इन्फेक्टिविटी नहीं थी। ये मेरा इन्फेक्टिविटी बहुत कम हो गई थी।